Talking about housing here this morning, are you priced out of the market in Oxfordshire, particularly when it comes to rents? We've talked a lot about how getting on the housing ladder here is so difficult. Right now, the rental market is as tough as I can remember. The average monthly cost for a private rental here now is around £1,500. That's according to the property website Zoopla. That's well above the national average, where it's around £1,000. Maintenance worker Rob Hembrow has been looking for somewhere to rent for the past year.
I think some of the places, we could possibly afford, but then it's like, what kind of concessions would you have to make to, your lifestyle? And, would you need to take on more hours at work? It's kind of an existential terror, I guess, to be a young person and thinking forward to, will I be able to find somewhere where I can start and support a family, or even just, find a place which doesn't take a third of my paycheck every month?
Well, on it goes. What's being done to try and make more affordable places to rent? Well, there are some things, it turns out. A community-led housing scheme, the Oxfordshire Community Land Trust, building 8 flats in Botley. Tenants will have to be prepared to help manage the building, but in return you get a very affordable rent. Our reporter Chris McHugh has been along.
It's a unique job. It's a tight site, but we are making the most of it. Hi, I'm Kevin McGowan from Lifebuild Solutions. So we are currently just outside Botley, Evesham Road, and we are building a nice little project for the Oxford Community Land Trust.
These homes are for ordinary people who need housing. I'm Alison Mathias, and I'm one of the non-exec directors on the board of Oxfordshire Community Land Trust.
We're building 8 flats spanning between 3 floors, and they're all real spacious, allow plenty of light, and all timber frames, well insulated, so it should be really, really good for kind of looking into the future project, really.
They're for people like nurses, doctors, bus drivers, cleaners. They're people that Oxford needs, that Oxfordshire needs, but who actually can't afford to live here.
This is planning for the future. So the solar panels, we're going to have a point, an area for future car charging points when required. We're not just looking for now, we're looking to keep this and it being used for years to come. There's going to be no ripping down anything to get, it's all there.
One of the things that we're going to do is set the rent at a level that will be within the local housing allowance. And it's the level at which, if people are unemployed and on housing benefit, it's the level of rent that will be covered by housing benefit.
We've got several homes here that I understand are due to be finished around the summertime. How much are you hoping to be able to then expand and, continue to build more homes so you can help more and more people across the city and across the county?
We can see there's a massive need for this housing. Crofts Court is our flagship development, so we've shown that it can be done. We're talking with local authorities, with Vale of Whitehorse, with Oxford City Council about other sites. They're very supportive of us. We're absolutely determined to go on and provide more of this sort of housing.
Earlier we were speaking about what this project meant to you, and you got quite emotional. Why is that?
Because I'm really cross, actually, that people can't get access to good quality housing in Oxfordshire at sensible, decent rent levels.
Well, Mark Child is from the Oxfordshire Community Land Trust, which is behind the development. He told me how they plan to try and keep rents affordable.
We peg our rents to the local housing allowance, and we've done financial modelling for the next 40 years to ensure that they can stay affordable. So as we pay off our construction loan and pay a small interest to investors, that will give us a small surplus to allow us to go on to other sites. But what is really important is that social investment, where we offer 3% to social investors. It's not a huge sum, but it allows people to take a stake in a fairer, more sustainable Oxford, and that allows our sums to work in going forward.
It sounds really good, this. Where are you eyeing up next to build after Botley? Because we need these properties at volume.
Yeah, we do. And we're in talks with the City Council of Oxford, which is the second least affordable city in the whole country. There's a number of sites we're looking to acquire from them. And we're also really keen to do a second site with the Vale of Whitehorse, who have been, a great advocate for this kind of development.
Well, Cllr Linda Smith is the Cabinet Member for Housing at Oxford City Council. Good morning to you, Linda.
Good morning, David.
It must be hugely frustrating for you because you can't buck the market. Let's get right back to the problem here. Why is it so expensive to rent here?
Well, there's a lot of demand and a shortage of housing supply. So that's basically it, isn't it? It's market economics. These new cooperative homes, it's great to have those as part of the mix. As has been said, the City Council is very supportive of that. We've got a scheme going up in Littlemore where we've made a plot of land available to a similar sort of cooperative housing scheme for them to develop. So it is something that we're keen to support wherever we can. But I mean, as a City Council, our priority really is City Council homes. We already own around 8,000 council homes, and we are looking to increase that by around 10% over the next 4 years. An extra 942 homes is what we're planning over the next 4 years. That was agreed in the budget last week. That's one of our key priorities, but also getting involved in the market where we can to make it more accessible, to make the private rented sector more accessible for people on low incomes. And we have got schemes to try and do that. So, for example, our rent guarantee scheme, about 400 landlords in Oxford City are signed up to that at the moment, and we'd really like more to get involved. So basically, they make their properties available at those local housing authority, local housing allowance rates to people available to people on low incomes. They keep the rents low, but in return, the City Council provides the tenants who are people who would otherwise be facing homelessness. But we guarantee the rent as well, and often pay it in advance by up to 3 months. Yeah. And we're available to take on other responsibilities for the property as well, maintenance and inspections. So that works really well for a lot of landlords. So if there are more landlords out there who would like to be involved in that and
yes,
to help keep the rented homes more affordable,
and yes,
but in a way that works for them, we'd really love to hear from them.
Let me put this point to you, though. It's becoming prohibitively expensive for anybody to be a landlord in this part of the world. Property is expensive. You've got I realise the mortgage market isn't under your control, but for a lot of landlords at the moment thinking of pulling out, they just can't afford to keep going. Are you making it prohibitively expensive, especially with a landlord licence here? I mean, who'd want to be a landlord right now? Private landlord in Oxford?
Well, there's still plenty of private landlords in Oxford. I don't think there's any evidence of the landlord licensing scheme having an impact on that whatsoever. In fact, the government published research which showed, where these licensing schemes have come in, rents haven't gone up proportionately any more in those areas than in the areas that don't have those schemes. So there's no evidence for that. The licensing scheme, it's a 5-year scheme. Even at the full price for landlords that didn't get in early, it's £500 for the full 5 years, or just under £500 for the full 5 years. So less than £100 a year. And for landlords that got in early or accredited landlords, they're paying even less than that. So I don't think we can pin the landlord licensing scheme down as being responsible for the high rents. It is about demand.
Thank you very much, Linda Smith, Cabinet Member for Housing at Oxford City Council. We'll come back and talk about this some more. There's a lot to unpack here. We could talk about housing all day long.